Bela Hairoi, a well to the living one who sees me. She dedicated a well to the Lord. So every time she comes back to that place, she remembers that she met with God, the living one who saw her. So, I don't have to tell you the story. After meeting with God, she had no problems going back to Sarah. No problems going back to her mistress, who she ran away from. No problem humbly submitting to her. No problem being controlled. And I want to say this to us, that if we know that we have a relationship with God, we should have no problems. We should have no problem. The thing about us Christians is we have too much problems. The thing about it is we make everything an issue. We look at a molehill and we make it a mountain. It should be the opposite. When we have a mountain in our life, we should make it a molehill. And we should magnify our God bigger than our problems. I don't care what your needs are today. I'm a preacher that will tell you God is able to meet it.
That's right.
I resigned my job in 1986. That was from the Republic Bank. And God said to me, I want you to go into the ministry full time. That time I was working 5 days a week during the day and preaching 7 nights a week doing crusades. And I was working more for the kingdom than, well, I was doing my work for sure. But God said, I want you to give up your job. And I did. And everybody said, you are so foolish. Trinidad was supposed to go through a recession in that year. It was the beginning of a recession, and I was afraid to tell my pastor that I had resigned because he would have surely put me down to counsel me. But I'm glad when people ask me after a month, you're still on holidays, you're not. I did tell my father that I resigned. I couldn't do that. Because all his hope was, that I would become rich and everything. But then I said, Lord, the staff with which I work said, why don't you sign up for weekend jobs? You can come on month ends and work and you'd be able to pay your car loan and everything. And I said, God, you are a bigger employer. Yes. And I'll tell you something. I was not paid a salary. I worked voluntarily. But I never looked like a beggar. I never acted like one, and I am not. Amen. I am God's child. Amen. And God took care of me all those years. Yes. And I remember one woman coming from the U.S., Sister Murphy, and I used to go to the mall and looked at nice things in the showcases and wish I had them. And she came and she said, how about I get that for you? And how about I get that? And all the things that I wanted, she bought for me, not even knowing. That's God. Amen. He loves you and He cares for you. Like He took care of Hagar out there in the wilderness. Some of you that might be pregnant, have comfort in your homes. The husband is rubbing the tummy whole day and you're getting your head anointed and everything to eat and the baby's crib is there. But she was pregnant in the cold, out there in the wilderness. But I thank God that He saw her in her condition and she went back. And now we go to chapter 21 to see what happened. By this time, Sarah got pregnant. What a miracle that was. Because she had passed the stage of childbearing. I don't know if you've been wanting a child and you passed that stage. I'm talking about Sarah. So you could get your hopes up today. She became pregnant and she bore Abraham a son, and that son was Isaac. So this was the promised child. The child began to grow. He was like about 3, and this one was like around 17, Ishmael. And I want you to know that the child came after about 24 to 25 years. Sometimes God says something to us and He says, I will bless you, I will promote you, I will prosper you. And we wait on my weekend. If it doesn't come, oh, that was not God. We get discouraged, we give up, we throw in the towel. I want us to know that God says things to us. He encourages us with prophecy. And then there is the whole middle portion of our lives we call drama. It happens and we forget what God said. When I started Crosswalk Ministries on the 7th of March last year, I did not know that it was in 1986 that God said that I was going to have my own ministry name. I had forgotten that because Central Missions only started in 1985. And when she told me that, I said, what are you talking about? I'm working with my pastor out here. I just started this church. I had no dreams to continue and to be independent. But a time came last year when God said, I want you to start this new work. And then a few months later, the Lord brought back the prophecy I had in 1986 that I will have my own ministry name. I had forgotten. And sometimes God has said some things to us that we have forgotten, but I want you to remember what God said to you.